Good early evening and welcome to another edition of What I Miss. What I Miss is made possible by generous grant from the Ben and Sylvia Gardner Foundation. Today is Monday, December 29th. Today I will be drinking DC Brow The Citizen, which is my favorite of the three regular DC Brows. All-time favorite DC Brow is On the Wings of Armageddon, like many other people. Okay, so we have a lot to catch up on. Uh, some good, some bad, some indifferent. Well, we left off last week, and actually, let's leave off with some decent news from last week. Bicycle Space, which is located on 7th Street by the Convention Center, is closing up that location. We previously learned they're moving to 440 K Street in Mount Vernon Square. But in an interim, before that space is ready, we found out they will be opening up at 700 5th Street Northwest, which is in Chinatown, near the Verizon Center. So that's good news for Bicycle Space fans. Also, while we were gone, Bao Bao, giant panda, touched a hot wire and freaked the freak out and climbed a tree and was up there for a while. And while we were gone, she came down from the tree. So that's good news too. The other good news while we were gone is Toki Underground, well, for dads and dads with daughters, is that Toki Underground is having a Daddy-Daughter Day January 4th, which is a cool little dinner. One more, I don't know why I was so down in the beginning. Another great piece of news while we were gone is that heirloom engagement ring. You remember there was a reader from Mount Pleasant who may have lost it on the bus or the metro. Well, a neighbor found a note she put up and returned it. So it was a good Christmas for them. Now for the bad news. As I steel myself, although many people were keeping up with what was going on, but it's still pretty depressing when I was scribbling down some notes counting all of the crime that took place while we were gone. At any rate, to start, first we had a shooting on 14th Street between Randolph and Sherman, which actually police have since released a photo of a man wanted for murder in that case. So, they can't really call it good news, but there's a lead in that case at any rate. There were lots more shootings in Southeast, Bladensburg Road, the Starburst near H Street, a homicide on Sherman Avenue, just north of the U Street neighborhood. There was a guy who armed carjacked a FedEx van and he was shot by police. There were more shootings and shots fired in North Petworth. There were more shootings and shots fired in South Petworth. And finally, 5 people were stabbed at McFadden's in Foggy Bottom. See, I told you it was a little depressing. Mayor-elect Bowser sent a note to the community addressing these concerns, and I actually spoke with her on the phone, so I do believe 100% that there is concern about the issue. However, to me, everything we're experiencing right now, it kind of feels like a regression. In 2002, 2003, 2004, all the way up until a few years ago, it was not uncommon to hear about these shootings, and it was always disturbing to hear about them, but one felt like progress was being made and the streets were getting safer. So I think a lot of the frustration also comes from the fact that it almost seems like the city and some neighborhoods in the city is regressing. But make no mistake that this is not just an issue for Petworth or Brightwood or 16th Street, 14th Street. This is this is this is happening all over. Somebody said in Hill East they're experiencing a lot of crime. I mean, I read about it in Capitol Hill, uh, in Brooklyn and in Edgewood. There's actually a post today where a reader wrote a letter addressing his concerns, and I think it echoes what many feel, which is the frustration of, of course there's no silver bullet. Again, poor choice of words, but there's no switch that can be flicked and say, okay, hey, you know what? Crime is bad. I'm glad these residents brought this to my attention, and the mayor will flip a switch and it will stop. No, it's not that simple. But you got to do something, and you got to communicate to the citizens, the residents who feel, number one, unsafe, who feel out of the loop, who feel that there's no progress, and who feel in the dark. So, you know, I'm certainly going to continue to highlight the incidents of crime in Pedworth and in Columbia Heights and in Brightwood, in Hill East, in 8th Street, wherever it happens, and we're going to wait and press for answers. And we'd like to see the redeployment of police forces to where these incidents are occurring. Having said that, again, I recognize I overuse having said that, but having said that, we're not going to understand all of the tactics that the police use, but you got to do something to assuage our fears. You can't just say we're taking care of the problem. You got to let us know. And like I said, there's a guy who wrote a letter today, which I think sums up quite nicely the frustrations that many people feel. So, that's an awful lot of crime that took place in just a week. Less than a week. It's unbelievable. Actually, unfortunately I haven't even gotten to all the crime. Sunday afternoon there were late afternoon shootings in Edgewood and near Brooklyn and in Bellevue Southwest. It just feels like it's never ending. I know that the mayor-elect did have a meeting today with MPD leadership, so hopefully they'll figure this out. We had a walkthrough in Petworth, which was reassuring to a certain degree. Of course, there were shots fired about an hour or two after it ended. So anyway, enough about crime, but suffice it to say, I remain agitated, and I hope you do too. And please let me know all the incidents that you hear about regarding shots fired, because they don't always get on the Twitter feed if no shells are found, if no casings are found, if no cars are hit, and thank God if no people are hit. Okay, back to the good stuff. We're going to go way over our 7.5 minute average. So last night, new liquor store Gallagher and Graham at 12th and U Street looks great. In the comments, some people are a little bit concerned about the liquors being stocked, but peeked my head in, and at any rate, the space looks great. There's a huge new Walgreens coming to 12th and F Street. This takes up part of what was the former Guess store downtown, and it's going to be one of the flagship stores like they have in Chinatown. Big news for Georgia Avenue and Kenyon. Union Drinking as a new neighborhood lounge and restaurant coming. I hear this is from the folks behind Sundovich, but we will find out more as construction progresses. Probably the coolest thing of today was photos of an eagle that a reader sent in, like just unbelievable pictures from New Hampshire Avenue in Petworth, flying in the middle of the street, picking up a a squirrel or something like that. If you haven't seen those pictures, they're definitely worth checking out. Okay, Newtown Kitchen and Bar on U Street. Looks like they were evicted. A couple of readers sent in photos with marshal service and many of their belongings on the sidewalk. Boule! This is the new spot from the owners of Saku Ramen in Adams Morgan, opening up tomorrow, December 30th. Um, this is DC's first Korean street food in the old Café Lautrec building on 18th Street next to La Fourchette. So that looks certainly promising. We said a sad farewell to Heller's, which closed after 86 years in Mount Pleasant. There's a POS on Metro filming women and posting it to a porn site. There's debate as to whether or not it's legal or not illegal, legal or not, but it is definitely effed up if you were filmed without your permission and put on a porn site. Anyway, more details on the site if you want to read about that. The McDonald's has transferred into a McCafe at 14th and U Street. You can see how that turned out. And a record section has been added to the cool S&S shoe repairing shop on 8th Street Northeast. Has one of the best signs in the city. And finally, the new Busboys and Poets coming to Brooklyn is having a New Year's Eve party for charity. So that's all for today. I hope you get home safe, and I hope Metro's on time. See you tomorrow.